Why do we anthropomorphize deities? By Dave Marsland of Cardiff Theosophical Society. Anthropomorphism, the attribution of human characteristics to non-human entities, has been a pervasive phenomenon throughout human history. When it comes to deities, anthropomorphism involves representing gods or spiritual beings in human form or ascribing human emotions, motivations, and behaviours to them. This practice has been a central feature of religious and spiritual traditions across cultures and epochs. The question of why we anthropomorphize deities is a complex and multifaceted one, drawing on diverse fields such as psychology, anthropology, theology, and philosophy. From a psychological standpoint, the anthropomorphization of deities can be understood as a natural human tendency rooted in cognitive processes and social cognition. Human beings have evolved to be highly attuned to the behaviours and intentions of other humans, a trait that has been essential for survival and social interaction. This cognitive predisposition, known as anthropocentric or anthropomorphic bias, leads individuals to interpret and attribute human-like qualities to non-human entities, including deities. This bias is evident in the way people ascribe human emotions, desires and intentions to natural phenomena, animals and supernatural beings. Moreover, research in the field of psychology has shown that anthropomorphism serves several psychological functions for individuals. By anthropomorphizing deities, people may find it easier to relate to and understand the nature of divine forces, thereby reducing the perceived gap between the human and the divine. This can provide a sense of comfort, connection and familiarity in the relationship with the divine, as well as a framework for interpreting and making sense of the world. Additionally, anthropomorphism may serve as a way for individuals to project their own needs, fears and desires onto deities, thus creating a personalised and relatable image of the divine that addresses their emotional and existential concerns. The anthropomorphization of deities is deeply intertwined with the cultural and historical context in which religious beliefs and practices develop. Across different cultures and civilizations, the representation of deities in human-like forms has been a prevalent feature of religious iconography, mythology and ritual. In many cases, the anthropomorphic portrayal of deities reflects the cultural values, social structures and collective identity of a particular society. For example, in ancient Greek mythology, the gods and goddesses were depicted with human-like appearances and personalities, embodying both admirable virtues and flawed characteristics that mirrored the complexities of human nature. This anthropomorphic portrayal of deities allowed the ancient Greeks to explore and understand their own humanity through the lens of divine figures. Furthermore, the historical evolution of religious belief systems and the interaction between different cultures have also influenced the anthropomorphization of deities. As religions spread and assimilated with one another, the representations of deities often underwent transformations to accommodate the beliefs and practices of new adherents. This process, known as syncretism, led to the blending of divine attributes, narratives and iconography, resulting in deities that exhibited hybrid or anthropomorphic characteristics drawn from multiple cultural sources. The anthropomorphism of deities thus became a means of cultural adaptation and assimilation, reflecting the dynamic and evolving nature of religious traditions over time. In the realm of philosophy and theology, the anthropomorphization of deities has been a subject of profound contemplation and debate. Philosophical inquiries into the nature of divinity and the relationship between the human and the divine have prompted discussions on the use of anthropomorphic language and imagery in religious discourse. One of the central questions raised in this context is whether anthropomorphism serves as a legitimate means of conceptualizing and communicating the transcendent nature of deities, or if it imposes limitations and distortions on our understanding of the divine. Within theological traditions, the anthropomorphization of deities has been approached from various perspectives. In some religious frameworks, anthropomorphism is embraced as a way to make the divine accessible and comprehensible to human beings, allowing for a more intimate and personal connection with the divine. By ascribing human-like attributes to deities, believers can engage in prayer, worship and ethical reflection with a sense of familiarity and empathy, drawing inspiration from the virtues and narratives embodied by anthropomorphized deities. On the other hand, philosophical critiques of anthropomorphism have raised concerns about the potential pitfalls of projecting human limitations and biases onto the concept of the divine. Critics argue that anthropomorphism may lead to anthropocentric assumptions about the nature of deities, constraining the transcendent and ineffable qualities of the divine within human-centered frameworks. From this perspective, the anthropomorphization of deities can be seen as a form of conceptual reductionism that obscures the mystery and grandeur of the divine reality. In the modern era, the anthropomorphization of deities continues to be a significant aspect of religious and spiritual discourse, albeit in the context of a rapidly changing global landscape. As societies become increasingly interconnected and diverse, the interaction between different religious traditions and worldviews has given rise to new forms of anthropomorphism and reinterpretation of deities. In some cases, contemporary religious movements and spiritual practices have sought to reimagine deities in ways that reflect evolving cultural norms, ethical values, and ecological concerns. This has led to the emergence of inclusive and non-anthropocentric representations of deities that challenge traditional anthropomorphic depictions. Moreover, advancements in fields such as cognitive science, neuroscience, and religious studies have prompted interdisciplinary investigations into the cognitive and cultural underpinnings of anthropomorphism. Researchers have explored how the human tendency to anthropomorphize deities intersects with cognitive processes such as theory of mind, agency detection, and social attribution, shedding light on the psychological mechanisms that underlie religious belief and ritual behaviour. These findings have implications for understanding the diversity of religious experiences and expressions across different cultural contexts, as well as for addressing questions of religious pluralism and interfaith dialogue in a globalised world. In conclusion, the anthropomorphization of deities is a complex and multifaceted phenomenon that encompasses psychological, cultural, historical, philosophical and contemporary dimensions. Understanding the reasons behind anthropomorphism involves a nuanced exploration of human cognition, cultural symbolism, religious adaptation, philosophical discourse and social dynamics. By examining the interplay of these factors, we can gain insight into the ways in which anthropomorphism shapes religious beliefs, practices and worldviews, and how it continues to evolve in response to the changing landscape of human experience and inquiry.